Okay, on the far right side you have your first and last name. On the far left side we have today's lesson titled Types of Change. I'm going to say it probably the rest of this week, which is just tomorrow. Over on the board over here to the left, we have the objectives written that not many people can read, but Miss Hoffman, Miss Maddock want them posted just to remind students of what the daily goal is, okay? Over on the big screen in front of us, there it is, so every single person can read it. You're only here for 50 minutes. Okay, you just had like a 2-hour break between specials, recess, 2-hour break. We're here to dominate for 50 minutes. That's it. I should get a sign that says dominate for 50. Can you make that? No. Dominate for 50. One goal, the first goal I want to talk about is students are going to be able to distinguish or understand what type of change a historical event probably went through. You've seen this slideshow before. I'm going to show you some historical events. We're going to try to figure out what kind of change is that. All right? So let's get started. Here's that complimentary picture of my rear end. Let's do this. Let's do it. Types of change. Sounds easy, so what I want to do first is simply get a definition. If I were to say, what's the definition of change? Oh, switch. Not really. So get the definition of change, okay? If I ask this on the quiz, I want you to know change means, and number one is the best definition, change means to make or become different. Let's do a review question here. Raise your hand if you know the answer. What's a synonym for factor? You knew what I was going to ask? Synonym for factor.
Me? Oh, reason?
A reason. What's the definition of migrate?
To move.
What's the definition of change?
To make or become different.
To make or become different. We got to lock that in our brain today for our dominating these 15 minutes here. A second definition, the act or instance, again, of making or becoming different. Well, let's move on. Types of change, types of differences. So change is basically defined as to make different. We've said that. Here's a great example I thought of, and I thought was pretty close to brilliant. So different coins, check out this, make different types of change.
Oh! Yeah.
Golf clap, golf clap. Different coins make different change. Go ahead and answer and raise your hand here if you have an answer. What are some situations that you have experienced change or something different in your life? It can really be anything. I had someone in homeroom say they simply changed the TV station. Yeah. What's something you've changed? Okay. What's something you've changed?
I moved.
She's moved from Virginia, Maryland.
No. I moved from Virginia and then to Virginia and then so on.
So why'd you tell me no? I said Virginia and then you said Virginia, but you told me no.
It's in Maryland. No.
Virginia, Maryland. It's in the same area. I couldn't remember. You don't have Maryland license plates?
Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. What's your change or difference you made?
Let's see. When my grandfather died, I valued life more.
You made a change in your life. That's an awesome one. Okay. Anyone else? That was an awesome one. Anyone else make a change? Yeah?
Changed my room.
Changed your room. I love to change furniture. And whenever my wife leaves on a vacation that I can't go to, for whatever reason, she always comes back and the furniture's been changed. 1 second. Action. Okay. So everyone has gone through some type of change. You change classes. You go home and you probably don't wear your Freedom Academy outfit all day. You probably change outfits. I go home and change as fast as I can because I'm tired of being in the same clothes all day. We change a lot, okay? The following slides show some things that I personally change or used to change or make different on a regular basis. Okay, some of you might remember these slides, but I make changes, I make differences every day. One is, I I change or make different my clothes. I just said that one. Now, I've been doing this slideshow here for a while, and something struck me odd after 11 years of using this slide, and I don't need you to kind of blurt out, obviously, but I'm curious how he got that dress shirt off with his tie on still. I don't know why I thought of that, but how do you do that? Rhetorical. Rhetorical. Okay, here's another thing that I change or make different. I used to do this, not so much anymore. I change or make different my hairstyle. You girls do this all the time. Sometimes you do the bangs one time, then you don't do the bangs, and one day you want to crimp it, and then one day you get your straightener. Sometimes you color your hair. You guys make your hair different all the time. Now this is, some people say I look like him. Okay, that is Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the better soccer players in the world. The reason he's up there is because I had a former student who had a crush on him, basically, so I would just pop him into slides throughout the whole year. So this is really for you, Hallie, if you watch this, which you never will, but it's for you, Hallie and RC. People make or change or make different hairstyles. Another thing is change or make different diapers. And then I made a revision here last night, and let me read it the way I was typing it last night. Used to! I'm done with it! Never have to clean another diaper! Ha! Take that! Not even one more diaper do I have to smell, clean, or change!
Yay!
Diaper, anyone in here have a younger brother, sister, cousin that you are sometimes responsible for changing the diaper? Now, let's look at our types of changes. Some of us know it. Some of us know it. Is that a fast change, a slow change, or a violent change? All right. Here we go. This one's going to slap us in the face here. The other thing that I can change or make different is your grades. You have the ability to change or make different your grade. It got quiet. Okay, so here's two quotes. One is by me. I just said it one day and it was brilliant. I thought I should share it with the world. And then one other one is from John Kennedy. Not real sure who he is, but he had a quote about it too. I'm going to go up here and emphatically show you how it went down that day when I thought of this quote off the top of my head. And then you can write down the other one. Change. It's not always good. It's not always bad. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Okay, so write down mine and then go ahead and read John Kennedy's. Not sure what he accomplished in life, but my quote is really decent. Especially when you pause just whenever there's a comma. It makes it sound really emphatic. There's a comma. It's not always good, comma. It's not always bad, ... It's inevitable. You guys never realized the power of a comma. All right, so change again, to make different. We make things different all the time, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad, hopefully more for the good. All right, so this is an important slide. You guys already know this, but this is important. Get it in your spiral so you don't miss it on a quiz. There are typically 3 ways things change or become different. Number 1, fast. Something can change really fast, really quick. Something can change pretty slow. And my favorite, just kidding, some things can change violently. That blue down there is pretty important too. It says often when one type of change happens, so let's say fast. Let's say something fast changes, okay? It says typically a second type of change will happen with it. So it might be fast and violent. In rare situations, it could be fast, slow, and violent. Okay? So it could be just one, but more than likely it's at least got 2 or 3 with it. Any questions on those 3 types of changes that you learned last year? Rick?
No, but can you stay on this one a little bit longer?
I will pause for another 15 seconds. I'm not liking the angle of this for some reason. I think we need to get it more twisted. We'll look at it.
Like how?
See how it feels like it needs to be, but I don't want to do it now because it's in the middle. You see what I'm saying? I feel like we could like bump that leg
No. So
Yeah.
it's more an angle.
right at it. So it's kind of like, see it's,
Then you'd have to like tip it that way because that side of the board. Wait. Okay, that.
all right, here we go. Ready? Typically when there's one type of change, a second type of change happens with it. So let's look at the whiteboard over here. Here's my piece of paper, right here. Here's my piece of paper that you have in your spiral. Write event on the far left. I'm going to show you some pictures of historical events, and we're going to write what the event is. Slide over to the right and write in our first type of change, that's fast. Slide over a little bit more to the right and write our second type of change, which means different. Write slow. And slide over one more time and write in violent. Again, here comes the historical event. If you know what it is, let's go with raise your hand. Raise your hand if you know it, okay? What historical event is this? Yeah.
Slow.
What historical event?
Slow. Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, so good. Underneath event, put number 1. It's Mount Rushmore. Okay. Now I'm going to give my opinions on these. Okay. I'm not going to have you chime in on the first few here, but it is kind of an opinion. It is kind of an opinion. So on your quiz on Monday, if you think it's fast, always give like a short explanation on what you were thinking on why it's fast. Don't just say fast, because I won't. Really fast? How did you get that? But if you explain, like, oh, okay, got it. So here's my thoughts. Is Mount Rushmore a fast type of change? I would say, in my opinion, I can't think of anything fast about that. Okay, and I don't want to exaggerate and like really look hard for something. It's got to be kind of obvious. Is there anything fast? I don't think so. So let's slide over to slow. I think that's definitely slow. This took a number of years to change from a mountain into Mount Rushmore with the faces. Okay, so I would go ahead and slow. I would give it a check mark or an X. Good X. Violent. I think there is some violence to this, so I would give it a check mark. Now you have to think about it for your opinion. I'm sure there were some deaths that took place trying to build this. I'm sure there were some dynamite used to create a hole so they can chisel. So in my opinion, I think there is some violent to this change. If you don't think so, then you don't have to mark it. Okay, anyone raising your hands think there is a violent aspect to it? Okay, then you would check mark it, the rest of us would not. Raise your hand if you know what event this is. 6th grade history, 6th grade history, 6th grade history. Christian.
Pompeii.
How'd you know? Number 2, write the city of Pompeii. Okay, here comes an even more intelligent question. Who can name the mountain that is located in Pompeii?
Vesuvius?
Mount Vesuvius, nice. So here's my opinions again, you can agree with it or not. Was there a fast change? Yes, I think when that lava was flowing, we remember that people were basically burned doing whatever they were doing last. If they were running, if they were eating, that lava just kind of, boom, it was fast. Okay, so I would give fast a check mark. Slow change, I think there is a slow change as well. I think like the vegetation life took a long time for it to grow back. I think it took a long time for that city to rebuild. So I think there is a slow aspect. I don't think there's a violent, I'm just kidding. There's definitely a violent. I think it's all three. How many of you are marking all three? Okay, how many of us chose not quite all three? Okay, your opinion on these. Just give me an explanation on what the hey diddle you were thinking. Okay, number 3, and uh-oh, it's not written on the board. Raise your hand if you know this historical event.
Well, World War II is Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall. We're going to go with Berlin Wall. So write Berlin Wall
I mean, not World War
on your paper. Here's my opinion. Is this a fast change? I don't think that was a fast change at all. That wall was up for years, okay? You got to think of this is Berlin, Germany, okay? So you got to think of Phoenix. And actually, let's scratch Phoenix. Let's think of this classroom as a city. And basically in this city, we would have a concrete wall, thick concrete wall that will divide this classroom. So you have to live on this side of the city. You have to live on this side of the city. There would be barbed wire, there would be concrete, and there would be guards on both sides. If you try to cross, you're probably not going to make it out alive. If you have family on this side of the city, you're not seeing them. If you have family on this side of the city, you're not seeing them. And this is for a number of years. This is the Berlin Wall, divided the city right in half. So I don't think there's anything fast about that. Slow, I think it's definitely slow. This wall was up for a number of years until one day, finally, both sides decided, let's tear down the wall, let's not be divided anymore, let's be unified. So I think it's definitely a slow change. And then definitely there's some violence involved here.
Just making a comment, I read a book about this. There's a book called A Night Divided, and it's about a girl named Gerda and some of her family was on the other side of the wall. There's a really good story about it, and it talks a lot about like the history of the Berlin Wall.
And we will get into that in 7th grade. One side of the wall was basically led by a communist government. One side of the wall was basically led by a democratic government getting help by the United States, and they did not agree with each other. And then finally, we got somewhere. Raise your hand. What is this?
Grand Canyon?
Grand Canyon. Write in Grand Canyon for number 4. My opinions, which are always right and perfect. Fast change. One person said, you know what, maybe the rivers or the waters that were going through the Grand Canyon were fast. For me, that was kind of a stretch. I don't think there's anything fast about it. Slow, clearly slow. This didn't happen last month or a few years ago. This takes a long time to get it like this. Just like it takes a long time to get there. Side note, I'm not a fan of the Grand Canyon. Might be because I'm not from Arizona, but I'm not a fan of the Grand Canyon. I do not care to get into the car, drive 6 hours, to finally get out of the car, look out over the edge of the railing, and see this hole in the ground. It is a cool looking hole in the ground. It's cool. And after 15 minutes, I'm ready to get back in the car and go home. Mr. Fliegel, do you want to go to the gift shop and get a rock from the Grand? No! I can get a rock in my front yard! No, what a rock! It's cool, it's awesome, it's historical, but I don't get, you want to hike it? No, because if I hike down it, I have to hike back up it. Violent change, I didn't see anything violent about this. Okay? Yeah.
Some people have died by falling off.
Yeah, but that's kind of their own unfortunate dumb fault. It's nothing that created this, right? But I see what you're saying. So if you think it's violent, it's your opinion. Guys, let's be respectful when people are talking, and let's also remember I have to ask a question for you to raise your hand. What? I'll go ahead and get you even.
I just have a little thing that I like to say for how the Grand Canyon was made. I'd just like to say it was made by a slow river flow.
Thank you for saying that, and you can check mark slow then because you think it was slow. I think it was slow too. All right, let's do, I think 3 more. Let's go to this one. Raise your hand. Spencer.
9/11.
9/11, you could write September 11th, you could write Twin Towers. Here's. My opinion is there was a fast change. Obviously the plane speed was fast. The rate that those Twin Towers went down was pretty fast. Lives were lost tragically very fast. I think there's a lot of fast. Slow, I think there's a lot of slow changes. I think the way that we lived in September 11th, 2001, let me get my numbers right, September 11th, the way we lived in 2001 to the way we live today, there's slowly been changes that we've had to go through to make our country better and better, okay? September 11th, 2001, or September 10th, 2001, we didn't really hear the word terrorism or anything like that in the news very much. Today, how much do we hear it? It's like every other word. I think September 10th, 2001, the way you went to an airport, you kind of just went. The way we go to an airport today, there's been changes, right? Now you have to take your belt, you have to take off your shoes, you have to take off everything. You have to go through the x-ray machine. Like, things change slowly to make our country better. And then clearly this was a tragic, violent event. That's all 3, just like Pompeii, in my opinion. I think we got 2 more. We got 2. What is this? It's kind of a one-word answer, but what does this represent?
Racism.
Yeah, let's go with segregation or discrimination. Either one, segregation or discrimination. Form your opinion here. If it's your opinion and you have a reason for your opinion, then don't let anyone change it. Okay? My opinion is there is nothing fast about this type of change. Okay? I think today, even in 2016, we could pull up a news article on Google or CNN and find out something about African American and white or whoever not getting along with each other, right? I think it's in the news still. I feel like at one time it was getting better, and now I feel like it's getting worse again. So I don't think there's anything fast. Slow, I think this is a really slow change. I don't think we're getting anywhere with this. Almost every day there's a new thing about this colored person and this colored person not... Good Lord. Like, when are we just going to accept we're people? Violent change, I think it clearly has some violence to it. The ways people treat each other. It's ridiculous. But I'm just giving you my opinion for free. No charge. And our last one. Types of change. We'll go with this one. And what is this?
The Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing.
Good. We're just going to write atomic bomb. Nuclear bomb. Atomic bomb. Nuclear bomb. Fast. I think there was a fast change. I think the people in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, their lives were changed very quickly. Okay. Slow change. I think it's a slow change too. I read just an article like last year that scientists think that like the lakes and waters in Nagasaki and Hiroshima still have some of that radiation in their water. And if fish are coming out of that water and they're eating the fish, it could have effect on the people, right? I think there's a slow change still going on with this. Violent, well, it's a bomb. There's not much more violent than that. Okay, so I think that one's all 3. So my all 3ers were Pompeii, September 11th, and Nagasaki and Hiroshima, correct? Those are big ones. Those are biggies.
Concentration camps were big ones too.
Well, we didn't go over that one, but yeah, you're right. We would have been. Anyone have any questions over the 3 types of change? Raise your hand if you can name one type of change. Yeah. Fast. Violent. Slow. What's a synonym for change? To make different. I think we get this. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and get Bon Jovi going again here for 2 minutes. Give you a 2-minute talk break, stretch break. You'll probably want to keep your spirals out, but we're going to flip gears and go back to types of locations for a really easy assignment that's going to be due by the end of class. All right. So 2 minutes. Keep your spirals out. Let's stretch or talk.